I'm Chelsea Butler, Executive Editor of KBB, and this is episode 7 of our new-ish podcast from the Tap. So today I am welcoming Bill Feinberg, President of Allied Kitchen and Bath and Allied Decorative Hardware and Plumbing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And today we will be talking about the major elephant in the room, the skilled labor shortage. Welcome, Bill, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Chelsea. Great to be here.
Bill and his company take this topic very seriously, as I'm sure most of the industry does, and he is a huge advocate of helping improve this challenging situation in the Florida area and beyond. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on this important discussion. So Bill, you said there needs to be a major shift in the way our country is trying to attract skilled laborers. Can you please go into a little more detail?
Sure, Chelsea. So I think that we need to look at outside the box because I have been advertising for the past year to try and get help for our company. And although I see a small shift recently and more people coming to the table, it's been very difficult. And I think it has to start in the home with the children, the parents of the children. And every parent wants their child to go to college and become a doctor, lawyer, scientist, all these great names. But there's such an opportunity which we are missing. And I think in America here, we don't look at our skilled labor force as someone who's an important person. I often look at my plumbers, my electricians, my skilled subcontractors that we work with, and many of them own beautiful homes, they drive nice cars, and they're doing great. They're making a lot of money. And a lot of people don't realize it, that as a plumber, an electrician, a mechanical contractor, there's money to be made. But it has to start early on when our kids, before they even get to high school, we need to change the mindset of the parents telling these kids that, it's a good thing to be able to go to school and learn a trade. And I know that in Europe, they often look at people that are skilled laborers as the upper echelon. These are important people. And unfortunately, here in America, that's not the case. So I think it really has to start in the home, early age. And I think we need to bring back classes to the schools, trade classes. I remember as a kid, we had home ec, we had shop, we auto mechanic. You would get the kids excited about learning a trade. That's not happening today. It's everything's computer, and computers are the future. There's no doubt about that. But there's a big need for labor and skilled labor that can do the trades that our industry, one of the number one leading industries in the country, the remodeling industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. We need labor, and I think it's if we can start early on, we can start a shift to bring in these kids at a younger age.
So you said, we need to convince parents and teachers that this is a lucrative career plan. What are the messages we need to send to get that across to them?
I think the biggest message is that it's a good thing that to be able to teach our kids these skills. They have to realize, how such a great opportunity that there is for these young adults that do go into the trades. There truly is a great opportunity for them. And I see what I'm paying, even some of the new people that we bring on. They start out at a good salary, they move up the ladder quick. They enjoy what they do, and that's the greatest thing. When I bring on a young person to learn a skill, and he'll train as an apprentice under some of our carpenters, and then they become good, and now they're moving on to the next level. Salaries are constantly going up in a short period of time, and it's a great opportunity. And once somebody really takes to something that they like, I mean, that's really important. You have to love what you do. And if you don't like what you do, you find something else that you do. And I often tell that to my employees. If you don't like the position that you're in, let me help you find something else, whether it be in our company or another company, but you don't do us any good if your heart's not in it.
So what about the pros of getting, becoming a skilled laborer versus getting a 4-year college degree? I know there's some discussion around that as well.
You know, I look at my own son, graduated with 2 degrees out of college, and literally you wound up taking a job that he didn't graduate in. He's actually now back in college, going for another career. So oftentimes, listen, I look at him and go, wow, what a brilliant kid he is. He's got all this education. He's very smart. He's worldly. He gets to learn all this, but can you support yourself? Many of us start families at a young age. You have to be able to support yourself and your family. And if you have the luxury to go to school, which so many of these kids in today's society, uh, uh, as you see, they're back home living with their parents because they can't afford to be on their own. I mean, to be self-sufficient and be able to support yourself is a great thing. And but you have to have a skill to do that. And it's really it's beneficial. I mean, I think it makes you a better person. You learn the value, and listen, you use what you have as a stepping stone to get you to the next level, to get you to the next position where you can do better in your life. So if you and I often know that I hear from many people that are attorneys and doctors. Well, working through college, I worked as a carpenter or laborer's helper. I demoed houses. I worked with my family business, getting my hands dirty. So it's not a bad thing, but so many kids today, they're just sitting home playing on the computer, thinking that their life skills are going to come from the computer. That's not the case. You have to get out there and put yourself out in public, because it's not just the skill that you're doing. And we don't often talk enough about that with our children. It's you're also gaining a lot of life lessons when you're out there working with other people. You're learning how to deal with other people. You're learning how to deal with situations, and it sets you up for future success.
Yeah, that makes sense. So aside from students, what are some of the other groups we can be tapping into?
So there's a lot of we have recently hired someone from a vocational school here in Broward County. So we've tapped into that market, and we've put some notices out there. Years ago we used to pull from the Art Institute, but we don't have an art institute any longer here in South Florida. The colleges don't really offer any classes, or minimal, although we are trying to let the colleges know that we have jobs available, even part-time, while these kids are in school. But we also go after some other areas that we have been fairly successful. I recently hired an Army veteran from ARC. ARC is an organization here that trains people with young adults and adults with disabilities. We brought a gentleman in that had a PSTD from the military, and he wasn't able to do a whole lot. And we had a computer. We were transferring all our files at some point, and they brought him to us, and he seemed like a really good guy. And he worked for a year with us, just doing a task over and over and over again. He was really good at that, and they worked with us alongside to make him better. After our job ran out, for what we needed him for, we offered him another position in our warehouse. Totally different, and he's still there today. So it's about 4 years. His name is Kason, and he's a military veteran, and just he's had some trauma that has affected his life, but he enjoys coming to work, and he's very thankful to have a job. And so that was one place. We also pull from junior achievement. I know there's junior achievements around the country. We just had an intern here over the summer, a young boy named Jaden, and just kind of whatever task we gave him, he performed, and it was great. And I really think that we changed this kid's life. When he first came to us, he was with us only for about 7 or 8 weeks. When he first came to us, he was so shy and didn't even talk. It was like, but when he left, it was like a new person. So, as a business owner, I think we owe it to be involved in our community and give back as much as we can. This was a way for us to give back. A junior achievement approached us through our Chamber of Commerce and asked us, hey, does anybody want to have a, can you accept an intern to work with your company? And, I thought it was a great idea, and was happy to do it. And, listen, the intern, he might not have been necessarily the best thing for us, what we needed, but the gratitude of what we were able to give him was worth everything. And it was great feeling for us to see and be able to give back to somebody that, never worked in a job, never worked in a company. And we had him pricing things in our showroom and, trying to help wherever we can, working on displays, straightening the showroom, filing papers, working with accounting, looking up product, doing things that he, never did, but, and our staff welcomed him. So organizations like that, Salvation Army, and I'm talking to someone now, a homeless organization, that they are trying to rehabilitate some of the homeless people that we have here in Fort Lauderdale. And remember, homeless people, some of them are very skilled and very intelligent people that just had down on their luck.
Yeah.
And just need an opportunity. So we're working with an organization now that is trying to train. They're actually one gentleman I know gets up at 5 o'clock every morning and they run. So part of the process is to get them, just get them thinking again and get their minds clear. But they need businesses like us to give them an opportunity and trust them. And so I think we have to be willing to do that. I believe there's a lot of good people out there that just need an opportunity. And so we're looking, outside the box.
Right.
Honestly, the ads that we put in, whether it be on the internet and newspapers and what have you, they're just not doing it for us.
What are some of your ideas for how other design professionals can help solve this problem? Because you're obviously doing whatever you can. So what can you
Yeah.
tell others?
Well, listen, I was on a call this morning with one of our largest manufacturers, Mastercraft, and no doubt they're feeling the pinch. And labor is their biggest problem. We know that there's a shortage in the supply chain. There's not a whole lot that we can do with that other than try to find product from different suppliers. But when the problems amount to the people in the organization that have nothing to do with supply chain, that's a bigger problem. And they're scrambling to hire whoever they can, whenever they can, paying overtime. It's really a big challenge. So I think that organizations in our industry, whether it be design, construction, remodeling, new home building, we have to look outside the box because, and we have to be willing to train. We're our industry, there used to be colleges that taught NKBA classes. I don't think there are very many of them these days. Where are people going to learn what we do in the kitchen and bath industry? The only place is if we teach them. So as design professionals, we have to be able to, toot our own horn first off, tell people how great this industry really is and how much of an opportunity that there is within this industry. But we also have to be willing to train and spend a little extra time nurturing, mentoring, and bringing in, maybe younger generation. I mean, I know that our industry is filled with people my age, and we need younger people, and that's something that we've always struggled for. So obviously it's difficult, in today's time when we have everything is a Zoom meeting instead of in person. You want to get together, and I remember NKBA would do the 30 under 30 at KBIS every year. What a great program that was. I've hired people from that group of individuals, but there's nothing like meeting in person. You have to get together and have these networking events, and we're constantly putting it out there within our community, letting them know that we have positions available. We're willing to train. I think that has to be a part of our way to let the people in our communities know that we're hiring, and that you're not often not going to find someone that's already has the skills. But I find that if you hire good people, you can teach them what we need to know. And I often find that within a month or two, they're up and running really, really strong.
So you've talked to me before about how you and your firm are involved, like locally within your community organizations, things like that, government agencies. Like, what are you doing on that end to help with this?
So, charity is a big part of my life, giving back to the community. I've never been able to write large checks to organizations as I grew my business, but I was always able to give time. And time and talent are sometimes the best thing for these organizations. So I've made it part of our core value of our company is to be able to give back. And I have found that over the years, by being involved in these organizations, such as a lot of the charitable organizations, but as well as other local organizations such as networking groups, Chamber of Commerce, things like that. I sit on several councils with the U.S. Army Advisory Council for recruiting. I sit on an economic council here in Fort Lauderdale that's tied to the Federal Reserve Board, just giving recommendations from local business leaders. And being involved with my Chamber of Commerce was probably the best investment I made. Many years ago, been involved with the Chamber and grew my way up the ladder to become chair of the board of that. And just constantly, be willing to put yourself out there and help. And every time I have an opportunity, I always raise my hand and go, I can do it. I find that the more uncomfortable I am, the bigger the benefit is for me that I get back. And yesterday I had the honor, I had COVID back in February, spent a week in the hospital. I had an email come through several weeks ago saying the hospitals need some help and encouragement. Would anybody like to volunteer to provide lunch or something, or just send them anything? And I said, yeah, I could easily do that. And yesterday I sent 50 lunches to the COVID ward in my
Oh,
hospital.
that's great.
I delivered it myself, and it was a great feeling because these doctors and nurses are getting just beaten up, and they're putting themselves, their lives at risk. And anything that we can do, we're fortunate. Listen, in the worst, you would think that with the pandemic, it would be the worst economy ever. It's the best economy ever for our industry, which is the strangest thing in the world, that we have never had this much business. We have never been, this far out. I mean, we're literally 4 to 6 months out before I can start a job. I mean, that's kind of unheard of, that, people come to me today and they're willing to wait 6 months for us to start their job. They're willing to hire us today, allow us to design their product, and then wait 6 months for us to start the job. It's crazy, but that is the way that we're operating today. And a lot of my customers come because they know me and my company as, like, we're the first one that they think of when they think of remodeling their home, especially their kitchen and bath. Well, isn't Allied the one that's always involved with these charities? We host a lot of charity events here in our showroom. Obviously, during the pandemic, we haven't been able to do that. We do have one scheduled for October 5th for breast cancer. October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We don't know whether or not that's going to happen. If it doesn't slow down, we're going to probably have to cancel it. But we, there over the years, there's times we've raised, $2,000-3,000, and there's other times that we've raised close to $30,000 in 2 hours for
Wow.
this particular event. So getting my employees involved with giving back and volunteering for something, it doesn't matter what, you just got to get involved. And a lot of them love being part of our philanthropy and the events that we put on. And whether it be here in the showroom or outside of the company, you just got to get involved. It's anybody, especially anybody that's successful that can give back, they should. I think it's we owe it to our community to pay it forward and constantly be given back there. And And so I think it's part of my successful formula. It's what's for 38 years kept my company in the forefront of our community here in South Florida. Um, we get big jobs. You know, when I started out back in '84, you know, kitchens and bathrooms were $5, 10, $15,000. Today they're 50, 100 to $300,000. To think that I would sell a $300,000 project, I would have never thought that. But we do it, and I attribute it to, you know, the trust that we have built within the community, and a lot of it has to do with the our recognition from the community for being able, you know, for giving back. I really think that anybody that wants to grow their business, just get involved in your community, and it works.
So in terms of the skilled labor shortage, which organizations do you think are making a big difference? Like the Home Builders Association, NKBA, NAHB, maybe even more local? Like what are some of the organizations that stand out to you?
You know, I often try getting together with our like-minded professionals here in South Florida, and it's like pulling teeth to have, you know, I remember when my brother Joe used to run the NARI chapter here, but it was like always the same people over and over again.
Mhm.
So we're doing good. We just started an organization last year, a committee through our chamber, a construction committee. So a lot of the members of our chamber have gotten together to meet monthly to talk about ways that we could help the process, whether it be labor shortages, whether it be challenges with permits in the industry, whether it be some of the local building codes. And we've really started a great a group where we're talking. There's probably about 30 of us, maybe even 40 of us that are talking, that are in our community about how to move things along. And we recently, last month, had a meeting with the chief of the building department, along with the chiefs of every one of his departments, to hear us and hear our needs and concerns. And so it's working. The process has improved, but you know, organizations outside, you know, I'm not finding that some of the local organizations like home builders, I'm not really involved with them. So I don't really know. I can't speak for them, but through the NKBA, we're not finding anybody. I put ads on their sites. It has been difficult. So I think anybody that's good and already skilled and familiar with our industry is already working and has a good job. So we
Right.
have to think outside the box of where we can get, you know, skills, you know, where we can get laborers from. And we have been, you know, slowly picking some new employees that have been coming to us. And you know, we've hired about 10 people over the last 6 months. We probably could hire another 6 to really fulfill our team and be able to move these jobs along faster. So, you know, we're ready, and it's just how to do it is really challenging. You know, one of the things I did do is I put out to my employees. I have given some good bonuses. Some of my employees found a couple workers for us. So that was, you know, I challenge my employees while they're out there, look for someone that could be a good fit for our company. We recently hired someone in the order processing department. We hired someone in our production department through referrals, and that has helped. That's just recently. So sometimes offering your employees a little extra money to help us
Yeah.
find good workers, other people, make them part of it. So we that has helped.
So in terms of these larger associations that we've talked about, what are some of the improvements they can make to being more involved in solving the skilled labor challenge?
I think is just being involved in our community. I really don't see the involvement like I used to in years past. Probably because everyone's so busy.
Right.
Um, Probably also because of the pandemic. It's keeping our industry from getting together, having networking groups. You know, the best way to find answers to our problems that we're having is to talk to other like-minded professionals.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I'm a firm believer that my competition is good for me. If we could all be on the same page and talk about, you know, ways to better our industry, be good competitors, uh, you know, set some standards that we all follow. I think it only makes us for a better organization. But it all starts with leadership. Everything is about leadership, from the company that we run to the organizations that are out there. You've often heard me say in our roundtable discussions, let's leave some time aside at the end of our meetings to brainstorm. I think that organizations need to use the treasure that we have in front of us when we have these board meetings or networking meetings to listen to some of the opportunities that are available and learn. Too often we are conducting business as usual when we have these meetings and not really listening to what other people in our industry have to offer. You'll often find out that somebody's going to have one good suggestion that we all can use. So, you know, to any business professional out there, I think listening to the people that work for us, the people that are part of our groups, um, brainstorming together, you know, hear what we have to offer. Um, I would love to be able to have some meetings with some other local remodeling companies like myself and talk about, you know, some of the issues that we're all facing. You know, the building process here in South Florida is very challenging. You know, we require permits for everything. You know, I talk to other industry professionals and they don't pull permits on small projects. We pull it on every project. Every bathroom has 12 inspections. It's ridiculous. You know, but you know, as one, we can't do very much, but as a group, we can accomplish a lot more. Um, so I think, you know, having more get-togethers with like-minded professionals is definitely a good thing, something we need to do more often, and something I look forward to once this pandemic is over, where we can get together and like I said, even, you know, attending classes when KBIS is around. Those classes are invaluable to you know, learn from other people that are doing what we're doing. That's how I learned. That's how I opened up this showroom, was sitting in a class, um, you know, at a KBIS meeting. Uh, I can remember this like yesterday. I think it was like 1985. Sitting in a class in and I think it was NARI, maybe a NARI convention, saying, "Hey, if you were going to be in this business, you need to have a showroom." And you know, we were working out of a small office and trucks, and when we first started, and we came back from that meeting, my brother Joe and I, who's my partner, and we immediately started looking for something to buy. And right here, where this building is that you see in the background for me, was a little duplex, and we bought two of them. And then we wound up buying the third one a year later. And for 25 years, we operated out of this small little houses on a main intersection. And then, you know, 12 years ago, we knocked them down and built this monster during 2008 and 9 when we had the recession. So I thought I was nuts, but it was people saw me building this building during the worst of times, and there was still people with money that was doing business, so they came to us, and it would happen to be a great move for us that we were able to do this, especially during that time.
So my last question is, do you think it would help to have some sort of accreditation or degree for the skilled trades?
It sure can't hurt, you know, and that's where having these technical schools, having, you know, our starting early on in our high schools, being able to offer a, you know, a class, I think it's really very helpful. And I think our industry can do something to offer classes. I would love to see more colleges offer classes, and even in construction management.
Right.
Um, you just don't hear that. Everything you hear is about, technology, and there's so many great parts of this industry. It's not just building with your hands. Um, I think any opportunity to offer further education in the remodeling and construction industry is a great thing. Encourage younger people to go for their general contractor's license, or go for their skilled labor license. Um, if you have a skill, you'll never go hungry a day in your life. You'll always be able to make a living. Um, Everybody always needs work done. Every house has several bathrooms. Every house has one kitchen. They need people to fix it up. It's just the way it is. And I think offering classes early on would be a great opportunity to get more people involved in our industry.
Awesome. Well, great words of wisdom from you, Bill. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone's learned a lot about what they can do to help, again, the elephant in the room and or all the other issues that we're going through right now. But thank you so much for your time. And we are looking forward to seeing you live at KBIS in February.
Looking forward to it, Chelsea. And I always say to anybody in our industry, I'm an open book. I welcome anybody to my showroom to, call, ask me questions. I love helping. I love successful people. I love helping people be successful. So if there's anything I can do for your audience, please contact me. I'm easy to find.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill. Thanks for your time.
You're quite welcome, Chelsea. Thank you.